My name is Erika Twani, and I'm the CEO of Learning One-to-One and author of Becoming Einstein's Teacher. I believe every child is a genius. So in this video, we're going to talk about routine having your child learning at home. Some people choose that, to have their children at home and learning at home. But it was kind of forced on us this 2020. Every child, every parent, every teacher were forced to learn at home. It has been a struggle because it takes us out of our comfort zone. We're not used to this. We're not used to have all the kids at home all the time, especially for parents, doing something that they're not used to. Now, I would like to present something that can be really useful for parents and for teachers, which we call Relational Learning Framework. I want to make sure that you have everything in place so your child can learn at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you an effective routine that thousands of students are already using and we know is effective. And if you want to learn more about it, it's in my book, Becoming Einstein's Teacher. But for now, just do this. So let's start with the first step. It's planning and goal setting. So make sure that children at home have a space to learn with everything they need, computer, textbooks, notebooks, games, anything that will help them to learn. Very first step. Now, to plan, you gotta make sure that you have in your notebook an area that says planning and that your child can write down what they will do in the next hour, in the morning, throughout the day. Now, one very big mistake that teachers and parents have done in the past, I've seen that all this year, was that they assumed that kids already knew how to do things, already knew what to study and how to do it. They don't. So it's up to us to help them on that first step. It's also very, very important that you make sure that you start in baby steps. Like plan for the next hour. What are you going to do in the next hour? And then as you see your child acquiring that skill, plan for the next 2 hours, plan for the morning, and plan for the afternoon. And the other very important thing is to be very, very, very specific on the goals that you want to achieve. I want to learn math in the next hour is not a specific goal. A specific goal is I'm going to do 5 activities in the next hour. That's a specific goal. So step 2 is explore. Now, if you are a teacher, what you can do is to send out some very interesting questions that can entice the brain of the students. And if you're a parent, you could spend a couple of minutes just asking some questions. Like for instance, if your child will learn about clouds, for example, you can ask, what do we know about clouds? Or how many clouds can we recognize in the sky? Or what colors they have? And so on and so forth. So that will start the child and the student to think about what they're going to learn and start connecting the new knowledge to what they already know. This is scientific. Don't skip it. It's very, very important that you do this. The next step, step 3, is research. The child will use anything available like textbooks, movies, documentaries, or somebody else that they can ask questions to, or anything that is available. It doesn't matter. Anything is a good resource. In the beginning, as a teacher and as a parent, you gotta understand that in the beginning, if you're just getting started with this, very, very important that you understand that your child needs guidance. So you have to help them with the resources. With time, though, what you see is that the child will start finding new resources by themselves. It's amazing to see when that happens. So they will use those resources to find specific things that they're learning right now. And then the very other resource that they will need is learn how to translate that into what they interpret about what they researched, right? So we use things like a concept map, a mind map, an essay, something that will help them translate what they understood into paper. It's going to be easier for them to come back and read it again for the next step, which is practice. So now what we are doing is we're working with activities and games and projects and making sure that whatever they learned is being practiced. The more they practice, the better they'll get at it. So make sure that they have also a choice. So lay out lots of practices, lots of things that they can use to practice, and allow them to choose one of them, or two, or three. Allow them to have a choice. Step 5 is relate. Now, up to now, we had a lot of work being done, right? You gotta write how to plan, you gotta, research, you gotta read textbooks, you gotta watch videos, you gotta do activities to practice. But now is a time where you stop and reflect. So you help your child to understand how they're gonna use the new knowledge in their own lives. So if you're learning math, which situations are you gonna use that? If you're learning about clouds, when can you go out of the house to play when there are certain clouds on the sky? So you can start connecting the dots into their own lives. And trust me, they'll never ever forget about this once they relate what they learned to their lives. Finally, the 6th step, which is self-assess, is also a moment of reflection. But now is a reflection on the process of learning. So how did I plan? Did I allocate the right time? Was I specific on my goals? Did I use the right resources? Did I practice right? Am I using that in my life properly? So on and so forth. Do not skip this step, because it's so important to make sure that the routine happens. See, we're talking about homeschooling routine, right? And it's so important that you look back, you play the observer as a teacher, you play the observer with your students. As a parent, you can also play the observer with your child to make sure that they understand that this is a process. And once you follow each of those steps, you'll make sure that learning sticks. So these steps are the Relational Learning Framework, which I talk extensively in my book, Becoming Einstein's Teacher. So if you want to learn more, pick up my book, Becoming Einstein's Teacher, watch the other videos, like it, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear from you.